Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Hellhound. Garm is what happens when you take away the ADHD kid's internet access. They start murdering people. His characterization is that of a psychotic young man obsessed with the idea of killing, considering peace an obscenity and a boring waste of time. Violence and war is what he breathes and bleeds, and when you have nicknames consisting of Garm the Hellhound, Terrifying Beast, Little Demon, and Man-Eater, it is clear that he's good at what he does. The name Garm derives from Norse mythology, a rather obvious reference to the wolf-like beast that guards Hell's Gate, and not to be confused with the son of Loki, Fenrir, preventing passage unless you are dead and preventing exit for those who already are. The Guardian is associated with destruction, bloodshed, and death, and therefore this name is rather fitting for the lanky little hellhound within Vinland Saga. Another belief for Garm is that during the events of Ragnarok, he would break free from the chains that suppressed him to symbolize the breakdown of cosmic order and emphasize the explosion of chaos through violence in the world. He would end up slaying the god of war Tyr in battle, also receiving wounds that would lead to his death. Garm's design is a combination of both Thorkel and Thorfinn along with his own unique elements. The unkept nature of his wild hair symbolizes his chaotic personality and also has a slim, dexterous body with incredibly fast reactions and movement, making him slippery and unpredictable, wielding a cool-ass customized spear that defeats one of the main weaknesses of young Thorfinn being his range. Unlike Thorfinn, who would have to be up close and personal to deliver fatal blows with his daggers, the spear gives a precious reach and is also detachable, allowing Garm to maintain distance and also surprise his enemies with quick close attacks. His mentality is practically identical to Thorkel, existing to fight, in love with war but not inherently an evil person, and incredibly durable due to his mental obsession with the beauty of violence. He cares little for loyalty, the wind of warfare guiding him.
No rules, no boundaries. He doesn't flinch at torture, human trafficking, or genocide. He's not loyal to a flag or a country or any set of ideals.
Much like the massive Thorkel. Although on a surface level, Garm may appear to be an action type of character only, there is a certain purpose to his existence as a support role to promote further development within Thorfinn that I will discuss later. The war in the Baltic is one of the most underrated arcs in the manga in my opinion, and Garm adds to the overall quality, providing comic relief, a chance for Yukimura to flex his incredible combat art, and raising questions about serious philosophy within Norse and Viking culture. So with that context established, let's dive into the absolute mad lad of a character, the Hellhound, Garm. Firstly, can we take a look at this beautiful volume cover? This dude just exudes that psycho aura, red eyes and dual belt, thinking he's Sasuke without the black drip. Garm's introduction is as visceral as any, nonchalantly launching his spear through the neck of a maid, attempting to assassinate Boulder with a perfectly deadly precision. It's made very clear from the beginning Garm is attentive yet rash, mocking the leader of the Jomsvikings himself, Floki. It's obvious he is not like other people in the Jomsvikings, with a lack of respect to authority, a mix between chaotic evil and neutral. Actually, this line inspired me to make my own moral alignment chart for Vinland Saga, and let me know your thoughts in the comments if I cooked or not. Garm infiltrates Vane's base and engages in combat, easily evading his massive hammer whilst making a dick joke. This guy is the most seriously unserious warrior ever, almost flirting with his opponents as he does not respect them, filled with a youthful arrogance. However, it is certainly justified shortly after Garm presents the butchered head of Vane to Thorfinn. His goal is to taunt Thorfinn into a fight, however, as Thorfinn is in his no enemies make peace not war era, he sprints off like my father when my mother told him she was pregnant. Thorkel is infuriated that someone would have the unchecked audacity to steal his kill, and this anger hints at a future battle between him and Garm, a clashing of titans. Thorfinn gets a terrifying reality check after assuming his speed far outmatched Garm, who appears almost magically behind him, causing Thorfinn's eyes to explode in shock. I'm not sure we ever see Thorfinn as surprised as when he is dealing with Garm, and that is a testament to his impressive ability and also the hilarity of his character. Despite Thorfinn's rejection, the kid doesn't know when to quit, wishing only to have a proper clash, exhibiting more of that Hellhound speed, easily blitzing Thorfinn with his spear, and we realize if Garm truly wanted Thorfinn dead, he would be. Garm possesses an ability so incredible it gives the illusion of fighting an archer, with this thrust technique being so honed the speed is almost unbearable. Thorfinn's ability to analyze assists his approach to closer combat, however the unpredictability erupts once again as Garm conquers the weakness of Thorfinn's suppressant by detaching his custom-made spear and shanking Thorfinn as if performing a pool trick shot. Thorfinn is a character who was always reliant on his speed and efficiency, so seeing a superior being is quite a shock to our system. However, due to Garm's inexperience and childish personality, he is not able to comprehend why Thorfinn continues to run rather than fight. The thrill seeker's philosophy is certainly crazy, as most people do not rush energized into potential deathly scenarios, and I believe Yukimura was trying to emphasize the insanity of Viking culture to lust for death in battle with an exaggerated amalgamation that became Garm. He locates Thorfinn's companions and forces them to become hostages, his master plan to entice Thorfinn into a two-option scenario, and I must say it's not a ridiculous plan. Unlike Bug Eyes, who attempts to fool Garm into thinking he is a hardened warrior, which, well, doesn't achieve much success, effortlessly being one-tapped. We do see some more parallels between Garm and Thorkel as he roars about the glorious freedom of the Viking way, fighting and dying is one's own decision, and all intellectual forces and moral implications can perish for all he cares. Garm presents the butchered head of Vane to the Jomsvikings with a bored and uncaring look on his face, yet under that facade of casualness, his reflexes are on continuous overdrive, shown by the blood dripping from his spear. Thorkel's wish to fight is matched by Garm, claiming his assassination of Vane is proof that he has the skill needed to vanquish the Lord of Might, but Floki, being the calculating fox he is, decides the wild card is too much and locks Garm up as punishment. It seems unfair to imprison someone for simply dreaming big, but when the dream consists of turning multiple kingdoms and the most powerful man on the planet to your enemy, it becomes slightly more understandable to wet the flame. Garm and Gudrid engage in a philosophical dialogue as she berates his apparent mental illness for valuing killing above all else. However, Garm's response is detached from empathy, calling it a difference of values, bored by the activities and livelihoods expressed by Gudrid, using the battalion of the Jomsburg as justification for his values' validity. Environment is a direct cause for ideals becoming extreme, and we have to realize that Garm is a part of such a mentally destroyed culture that fighting and killing is literally the norm, and from his perspective, peace is the delusional side. Garm is tied up and offered to Thorkel on some Epstein type shit, however immediately taunts Thorkel into a fight, that comedic cockiness on show once again, but of course these two have an incredible chemistry, being equally twisted, and Thorkel agrees to the fight with a broad smile plastered on his face. Maybe one of the most frustrating things about the entire manga is that we don't get to see the full clash, but only the ending. Both Thorkel and Garm are equally battered, bruised and bloody, puffing and panting, an even fight, and Yukimura decided to edge us with statements and only a few shots. Apologies for that. The two look ferocious in the panels we do see, and the fact that Thorkel needs to put so much effort in to keep up is a true testament of Garm's ability. Just watch this if you want to see a mountain's worth of Thorkel glazing, and the brawl ends in a draw as the two warriors manage to floor each other. And remember, Garm is only around 18 years of age, confirmed by Yukimura on twitter.com, meaning his prime is yet to come, and he is already equaling the mighty Thorkel, happy with his day, limping away promoting violence as if it was just a normal Tuesday afternoon for him. This dude can also casually dodge arrows from close range as if he had ultra instinct, and to flex harder decides to run up a whole ass vertical wall. That's not an exaggeration either, he just breaks the laws of physics, flipping over the wall in perfect acrobatic execution. The swarms of the most deadly warriors in the entire world are no match for his slickness, easily disarming, humiliating and annihilating them as if they were children. Take that. His search for Thorfinn finally closes, observing him from above like a damn dark night, and I wouldn't be surprised if a little bit of blood rushed to his penis, because this guy absolutely has a crush on him. Although I and the entirety of Vinland Saga Twitter would sympathise for that crush, because Thorfinn is one fine piece of meat. A clear fan of the dramatic entrances, once again his cockiness shows, calling himself the headliner, but I don't recall the manga being called Vinland Saga. Huh, good joke, Vok. You still got it, man. You still got it. The stage is perfectly set for their clash, and Thorfinn is forced to fight in order to protect those he loves. This has been an issue Thorfinn has had to deal with throughout the entire manga after abandoning the way of the blade, and Garm once again forces this choice to be made due to him easily blitzing Arrowfire and Sigurd's chains. It's somewhat of a curse for Thorfinn being such a sharp warrior, as it makes him a target by the likes of Garm and Thorkel, putting those he loves in danger. Some of my favourite dynamic shots consisting of conflict are in the Garm chapters, as his fighting style is so unique and gave Yukimura a chance to boast his incredible talent with his angled shots of the spear thrusts. I just love how he depicts scars, blood, fatigue, blades and hair, and Thorfinn and Garm engage in a duel of sorts which only ends up hurting the bumbling fools around them, the speed of the warriors clearly on a level of their own. This is nothing but exhilarating for Garm, whilst horrifying for Thorfinn, who manages to evade and parkour his way onto the roof, but his boyfriend is never far behind, landing soon after as well. I mean, come on, there has to be a fanfic between these two somewhere. Look at this goon's eyes. I need me a woman who wants me as much as Garm wants Thorfinn, but once again he gets rejected, and this romance thriller continues to edge us. Thorfinn's wounds have not healed, and this forces him to stop, and we finally see him assume a pose of a fighter, Garm still taunting him and promoting the situation as a two-option ordeal. The war is in full swing now, death and destruction everywhere. However, in our isolated rooftop scramble, Yukimura makes Garm appear ever more terrifying with his first-person shots, motion blur, and just exaggerated swagger of a Viking teen. Finally though, Thorfinn manages to have a conversation with Garm as they discuss the current battle, and Thorfinn attempts to educate Garm with the meaning of life, but once again, the hard-headed foolishness of Garm blocks the profoundness of Thorfinn's experience, claiming war is pleasure and life is meaningless. Garm is a very hedonistic person, and whilst I don't completely object to the philosophy of hedonism, despite its narcissistic traits, when your pleasure derives purely from expelling the lives of others, it becomes blurred with evil. Thorfinn realizes the way to win is to attack Garm's pride rather than his ideals, and begins taunting him as an inexperienced child in the game of life. Garm, being the dunce he is, falls magnificently for the bait, charging Thorfinn from a close range with his spear detached. A chilling parallel is created as Thorfinn blocks the attack by grabbing Garm's arms and restraining him, just like Askeladd did many years before. Whilst Garm is not meant to represent younger Thorfinn exactly, that would be lazy writing after all, he does certainly possess elements of that Thorfinn, such as a pointless life, no true ambition beyond self-serving, yet self-destructive obsessions with violence, and the arrogant inability to witness a bigger picture. Askeladd may have been a morally bankrupt man, yet he had experience and wisdom in the ways of the world, which Thorfinn inadvertently picked up with years of tailing him, delivering a final blow that completely smashes the stupidity out of Garm. We see a flashback of his childhood in which he was an outcast there as well, nicknamed terrible titles due to his psychotic personality, managing to kill even adults as a tiny child, and sure, the raising of one can be a severe detriment to their growth in morals and concepts of life. However, in my honest opinion, Garm was always destined to be a cold-blooded killer. Like, just look at this terrifying little monster. Garm finally concedes to Thorfinn's expertise. However, despite everything Thorfinn attempted to instill into his mind, Garm remains convinced a fight to the death is the only way to establish oneself in this world, and in a kind of wholesome, bittersweet moment, acknowledges Thorfinn as his friend, so that was kind of cute to see. Garm did accept the friend zone in the end and bounces off to stab a puppy or something, and that was the last we ever see of him. So what is the tale of Garm the Hellhound, you may ask? Well, pretty much don't be an idiot. But seriously, I believe the character of Garm is meant to challenge our own life values. Are the activities we partake in truly fulfilling? Will we look back on our experiences as success or simply killing time? Are pleasurable thrills truly what makes life worth living, or should we seek a greater purpose such as Thorfinn? He is a foil to the idea of positive mental growth, and Yukimura's writing significantly opposes this form of existence, which would lead me to believe Garm is meant to be seen as a broken person rather than one we should aspire to be like. But from a surface level, Garm is an exquisite taste of spice in the Baltic arc, and I truly cannot wait for his animation to hit the screens at some point in the future. That's going to wrap today's video up, guys. Thank you to anyone who has made it to the end, and I'd just like to give my utmost thanks for the support over the past month with the insanity of the homunculus video, and for 750 subs and growing. I'm truly shocked and did not expect such reach so soon, so thank you truly. I have set up memberships and whatnot, but I don't expect anyone to join yet as the benefits are not so clear set. However, I do have big plans in the future for when we are bigger. I do have Instagram and Twitter in which you can keep up to date with my movements and even have conversations. My messages are always open for anyone, and I will link those in the description down below. With that being said though, thank you for watching, like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Until the next one, peace out.